When I first loaded this game up, I was a little perplexed by the lack of, well, anything. There were 5 options at the bottom, and one of them was to exit. There was no options menu, nothing to set any controls or sound volumes or anything. I checked out the tutorial first, which was simple instructions. Click and drag to teleport, don't teleport into the bosses, and the beam does damage to the bosses. Seems pretty simple. Except the first boss uses a beam as one of their weapons, which confused the hell out of me. Because to me, the beam your character makes is just a tracer to show where they'll go, and teleportation doesn't seem to be an offensive power in my mind. So when I saw the light beams passing across the screen from the bottom corner, I thought, oh, so all I have to do is survive and not touch the moving boss or their attacks until the corner beam takes down their health. Except that's not the case. It's your teleportation beam that does the damage. Now I'd probably have been able to understand that had they put any of the other 2 bosses first, but the fact they chose the one boss that had beams as weapon the same as me for the first one was a little misleading. Maybe they thought people wouldn't be idiots, and there's always potential for people to be stupid. You've got to explain. I will always be that stupid. The main aims are to not get hit and hit the boss. Pretty easy, right? There's kind of a bit of a catch to that though. You can't move when you're attacking. In addition, that makes you think a bit more about what you're doing and when. For example, with Fetus, if he's just milling around, you might think, oh, I can just sit here a bit and wail on him. But you have to stop attacking if he pulls out the wall attack, because otherwise you get mushed, which means that you have to be smart about when you're taking your chances. The 3 bosses in the game give a bit of variety, and after I figured out how to play right, I found them fairly challenging, but not incredibly. The first boss had a sort of Binding of Isaac kind of vibe and design, and the next one was fairly creepy as well. They kept you on your toes for the most part. I'm not sure if they were supposed to increase in difficulty or anything, but I found the Iris boss's attacks to be way harder to evade than the Berserker boss. Berserker could cover more ground with its attacks, and its arrow attack can be a killer if you move the wrong place at the wrong time. But if it goes through the spin attack time after time, it just turns into a game of rodeo, which you can win fairly easily. However, some genius had the idea of allowing you to attempt to fight all 3 bosses at the same time. It was something that could very easily have been missed, and nearly was, again due to poor explanation. The only way I found out that you could even do that is because I happened to notice that you got achievements for beating the bosses, and wondered how many achievements a small game like this had to offer. I noticed I had 3 out of 4 achievements, one for beating each boss, and a final one that said defeat all 3 bosses at once. That still didn't mean that I could find it. All that meant was that I knew it was there somewhere, lurking. After a browse of the Steam community, I found a video that showed me how to start it up. Alone, the boss is a fairly easy game. Together, it's as easy as trying to knit a scarf whilst 10 hungry wolves tear at your arms. There's so much to think about and so much to evade that sometimes it becomes nigh on impossible. Berserker's massive area attacks are easy to evade when there's only him to think about, but when Fetus's giant wall of death cuts your movement space by 50%, and you also have 2 beams to avoid, and Iris's floating ball of doom tracking your every movement in a limited space, it gets difficult. It's like insane mode with triple the insane, and triple the potential to drive you insane whilst you're there. Also, as a note to that one dude in the community page who managed to beat them all who said, hey, this is how I beat them, so first you gotta hope Berserker uses his small attack. Screw you entirely. Every single time, Berserker would go straight for the arrow attack or the huge swing and force me out of my strategic corner whilst I was trying desperately to whittle them down. It's impossible. I don't believe you did it. God damn it. And, as an added bonus, and by bonus I mean kick in the teeth, it's not the kind of triple boss level where you can destroy them one by one and make it easier for yourself. Nope. They all share the same health bar, which means that if one dies, they all die, but if none die, then you most certainly will. Before I discovered that mode, I did find the game lacking, and to be honest it still sort of is, even after the miraculous discovery. Directions are one of the main things it's lacking, seeing as it decided that making this intricate and wall-punchingly difficult mode, and then hiding it somewhere no one could find it, and not advertising it anywhere but the achievements was a good thing to do. Whoever did that, please never own a shop. Because if you did, I could imagine you'd have 3 racks of old clothes in the beginning, then hide the rest of your high quality and very affordable goods behind a mirror where no one would see it unless they spotted the nigh on invisible door. Some people might be interested in the older clothes, but many more people would probably be interested in your high quality goods, and I am one of those people. Most of your time will be burned on the triple boss mode, I can imagine, seeing as fighting them individually took very little time. But the concept in general is very good and would make for a decent bigger game. Which leads you to the eye in the corner advertising a full version of the style of the game. Dead. The father of mini-dead. It's £3.99 on Steam, which effectively makes this game an advert of sorts. I'm beginning to see a theme with these things. Mini very well applies to the content level, as I finished all 3 bosses in around 15 minutes, with a large proportion of that time spent figuring out why the first boss wasn't taking damage. Of course, there was plenty more time to waste on the triple mode, another 20 minutes, and I still haven't completed it. Once again, on the note of this mode, I want to call absolute shiz on some of my deaths. I want you to watch this, right? Really slow, frame by frame, and tell me what killed me. Because I watched this time and time again, and absolutely nothing touched me at all. And yet it still made me die. Do you see anything? Is there anything there? Or am I just blind? On a less salty note, Mini Dead, despite being partly an advert, is also a game, and I must rate it as such. Whilst it was charming and creepy in artwork and music and fairly entertaining, the complete lack of content only makes it good for, well, probably 10 minutes of play for anyone with an IQ above 15, unlike me, for the main story, and maybe an extra half hour or so for the triple boss mode if you're a lot better than I am. Credit where it's due to the concept and the potential that could be gained from it, and for making a decent advert, but absolutely no credit goes to whichever idle tosspots thought that hiding extra content of the game and giving no indication to its existence was a reasonable thing to do for a goddamn advert. It's an advert! You're trying to show people what you can do! You don't hide the best bit! The bit that hooks people and gives them a huge challenge as if it's something to be ashamed of. That's the bit that draws people in, that makes them think, huh, if the other game's like this, maybe I would very much enjoy it too. It doesn't matter if Dead is not the same or not as challenging. Once they've paid, and it's not false advertising because you've not stated explicitly anywhere in Mini Dead that this is exactly what you'll get if you pay for Dead. So goddammit, if you ever make anything like this again, do not hide the damn content. Don't hide anything. Treat people like they're idiots so they don't miss anything, because that could be a missed opportunity for you. This is your only warning, and if I see you doing it again, it'll be straight to detention. Anyway, again, back to the rating. Because it gave me a healthy dose of salt and also despair at the same time, but also promoted some decent, if hidden, content to me, I'll give it a 4 out of 10 for being a little too mini. In addition, I feel like I should mention the way I rate on Steam, since this will be my 10th addition to my curator page and will make it visible on the store. In general, if I rate anything below a 5 out of 10, I usually label it with a not recommended tag, and over 5 out of 10 gets a recommended. Needless to say, if you see the gameplay and you're interested, then go and play it. Sometimes I enjoy games in the moment, sometimes more than ones that I've rated well, but their content lets them down. This is just my opinion. There is no law in place that says you must listen to me and agree with everything I do. So again, if you want, go check them out. They're all free, so it's no loss. My word is not law. I am not your god. Yet.